This is Dr. Krista Braun, naturopathic doctor, and today we're in the kitchen and we're going to be making a healthy pumpkin pie since we're coming up to Thanksgiving. So the pumpkin pie that we're going to be making is actually a raw food recipe, and it's gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, and it's free of all those, the hydrogenated oils and the shortening and all of that we don't really want in our diet. So this is a nice, healthier option for having a nice, yummy treat at Thanksgiving. So we're going to start off and make the crust for the pumpkin pie, and it's something that's a no-bake, so it's very quick and easy to do. Okay, so we're going to take our ground almonds and we're going to put them in the blender. Now I've already pre-ground them just for convenience sake, but basically you would just pulse the whole almonds in the blender until they're a nice fine consistency. So this is in place of your wheat or your gluten containing pie crust. So what we're going to add to that is 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we'll just add that in. And then we're going to add about 8 dates. We're going to add in that have been soaked for about 1 to 2 minutes. So we're going to add those in. And this just helps to moisten the crust so that it stays together. We're going to reserve the water because we'll add a little bit of the water to help with creating the right consistency for the crust. So next we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of the vanilla extract. And about 1 to 2 tablespoons of the filtered water we'll start with, okay? I like to use the water that the dates have soaked in just because you get that extra flavor from the dates. So I'm going to add a little bit extra there. Okay, so we're going to close it up and blend it up. So now that you've got the pie crust all blended up together and you've got sufficient moistness to it so that you can put it into the pie crust, the pie pan. So you put it in and then you're just going to flatten it out, and then we'll be ready to do the pumpkin pie filling. Okay, so for the pumpkin pie filling, we're going to start with the pureed pumpkin, and you can use straight pumpkin and cube it up and then blend it up, but for simplicity's sake I've used pureed pumpkin. Now pumpkin is a rich source of vitamin A, which is very good for the immune system, for eye health, for respiratory concerns. So that's something that is very beneficial. It's a very high source of vitamin A. It's also a good source of vitamin K, which is helpful for blood clotting. So if someone has excessive bleeding, then you can use the pumpkin to help with that. Then we're going to add 1½ cups of the coconut milk. ½ cup of maple syrup. So this is in place of the refined sugars. And maple syrup actually has a lot of extra trace minerals in there that are very beneficial for your health. So that's 1/4 cup, and we'll do our next 1/4 cup to give us ½ cup. spice mix all together, but basically you're going to take 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground turmeric. And I've also added 1/8 teaspoon of sea salt in here as well. Now certainly the cinnamon is going to give you, it helps with balancing blood sugar, the ginger helps with any stomach concerns, nausea. The turmeric is an anti-inflammatory, so it's a very strong anti-inflammatory, so that's excellent to include in any of the recipes that you can. So we've got our spices in, and now we're going to add a 1/4 cup of the lecithin granules. So lecithin granules are actually an excellent source of choline and inositol, and those are very good for helping with liver health and also helping the body to break down fats. So that's a nice added benefit in there. You can actually use lecithin granules to help with fatty liver, so helping to break down the fatty deposits on the liver, as well as helping with alcoholic liver cirrhosis, so it helps with breaking down the adhesions or the scar tissue in the liver as well. So then we're going to add 1/2 cup of the coconut oil. And coconut oil is saturated fat, but it is extremely, the benefits are quite large. It's extremely beneficial for brain health and neurological health, and so it can be used for people with Alzheimer's or autism spectrum disorder, because it's made up of medium chain triglycerides, so it absorbs readily into the system. It's also very good to use for baking because it actually helps with, it's got a high boiling point or a high smoke point, so it's going to stay stable even at high heat. Now this recipe we're doing it all raw, so that's not important in this recipe, but it's good to know. A little side note to know though. Okay, and the last ingredient we're going to add is the dates. So the dates give some sweetness to the recipe as well. They're also a good source of iron, so they're good for helping with any anemia. They're also great for people with constipation, as they're a good source of fiber. They also have lots of key minerals in there as well, important for health. So we're going to add all that in, and then we'll blend it all up. Okay, so we're going to pour that into the pie crust. My kids absolutely love pumpkin pie, and they just can't wait for Thanksgiving and the different holidays where we can actually have the pumpkin pie. And this is a nice option to be able to have a healthy alternative, and we can actually have it year-round. They often talk about, you know, bulking up and freezing a whole bunch of pumpkin pies so we can have some on hand whenever they have that craving. Okay, so once you've got all of the pumpkin pie filling in the pie plate, you want to put it in the fridge uncovered for about 2 hours to let it set. And then it's good to serve and enjoy, and you can keep it in the fridge for up to a week. But certainly I'm imagining it probably won't last that long in the week. So hopefully you enjoyed this session, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and enjoy that pumpkin pie. Take care and be well.